Good evening, everyone. It's Mother's Day, May 2009. This video is in response to the City Council meeting that actually began last Monday but did not officially end until Friday. More on that in the third of three items that I'm going to talk about. As always, this is the update I do after every meeting. There are three things I'm going to talk about in this video. First of all, we finally officially created an energy commission for the city of Rochester. Second of all, I'm going to talk about Walgreens and an exchange that happened between myself and Council President Hansen at the last meeting. And finally, I'm going to talk about Westfire Grill. Obviously, that's the reason why our meeting actually never officially adjourned until Friday. First of all, with regards to the Energy Commission, this is something that I'm very happy. Hats off to the council member from Ward 1, Ed Ruska. He was the person who initially proposed this before I was on the council. Something long overdue, and I think it's something that's going to save our citizens a lot of money and a lot of pollution in the long run. Essentially, what the city of Rochester now has is we have an energy commission, which will be contain 9 members, myself, Ed Ruska, initially representing the city council, and then 7 at-large members from the city. The application process will be available very shortly on the post bulletins, or sorry, not the post bulletin, maybe the link to it for us, but the City of Rochester's website. If this is something that you're interested in, if you have passion about energy conservation and ways of saving the city money, maybe put in an application. Contact myself or Ed Ruska if you have any questions. But that officially passed at the last meeting. The vote was 6-1. Trying to remember, Bruce Snyder did not support it, but then he also did allow us to do our second reading. So that we did the second reading at the same meeting, and the short of it is Rochester now has an energy commission. I know some of you are pretty excited about that. Second thing I'd like to talk to you about is Walgreens, an exchange between myself and Council President Hansen. There are a lot of things that get done on our city council because that's the way they've always been done, and I want to make quite clear that that's not good enough for me, and I'm not going to stand by unless some things happen that I didn't agree with. The Kutsky Park Neighborhood Association, which I've long said is the model of what a neighborhood association should be in the city of Rochester, was very proactive, and about 3 years ago they put together, after a lot of work, they put together a document basically stating what their neighborhood was going to look like in the future, where development was key, and what kind of development should go in different places. And this Walgreens proposal is done in a place where they had identified some more dense redevelopment, but there were a few things with the plan that I thought were a little bit haywire. First of all, they're essentially putting a concrete moat around what should be a very urban building. And second of all, there were some urban design characteristics that would not be befitting of the corner that it's on. We wanted to make it safe and accessible and friendly to pedestrians as well as automobiles, and the initial plan did not do that. To the developer's credit, and I'll continue to give the developer credit, he sat down and met with the neighborhood association. The Kutsky Park Neighborhood Association has brought up some great points, and they're trying to speak with one voice, which is very hard when you have neighbors that live right by that just don't want it, but they're trying to be pragmatic and come up with a solution. I don't know. I'd like to see the city work a little bit harder to be a partner in that as well. But, after some discussion of what was appropriate, there were some people that took some shots at the Kutsky Park Neighborhood Association, the council president being one of them. And what I took exception to is not only was he taking some shots at the neighborhood association, which I thought was inappropriate because, again, I think they're a model neighborhood association. They're what we should be encouraging every neighborhood to do. But then after going on this rant where he's accuses them of stubbing their toe and basically failing their role in this part, he decides he's going to say, and now we're going to vote on it, as though I have the last word. Well, the city charter does not give him that ability. The city charter says if he wants to call the previous question while there's someone who still wants to make a comment. In this case, I certainly wanted to respond to what I felt was some crap that was put out there right before me. But he's going to need to go through a procedural process, which essentially means he's going to have to get a supermajority of the people to agree to limit discussion at that point. He didn't even ask. He just said, we're going to vote now, and that's what they did. And I called point of order on him after that. The city attorney backed me up, and that was absolutely correct. Maybe that's the way it's been going for 10 years, but Mr. Hansen's been on the city council for 10 years. He should know better. He should know the rules. We shouldn't need to explain this. And if you're going to take pot shots at one of the neighborhood organizations that I represent, I'm going to stand up, and I'm not going to stand for it. So that was the idea behind that exchange, I was very disappointed in the way that he handled that. I was very disappointed that he called the neighborhood association when he's doing what a lot of neighborhood associations should be doing, and making sure development is compatible with the long-term goals of the neighborhoods and fits in with the neighborhoods. And instead of praising him, I thought he belittled the neighborhood association. I didn't appreciate that. What I'm going to try and do too is I'm going to provide you a link I'm going to try and get a copy of the city council meeting and put up that particular clip so you can see exactly what I'm talking about in terms of how this was procedurally not done correctly. To his credit, he acknowledged that that he's not going to do that in the future, and I'm going to certainly see that that's the case. Finally, the third item, obviously the big hot item this week, is Westfire Grill. I mean, in short, we took away their liquor license. It took us about, from first hearing about it on Monday, by Friday afternoon, we had basically taken away their liquor license, and I'm not going to ever shed a tear for that. I think it's long overdue. I made the point at the city council meeting that this city council has been way too soft with some of these establishments. I do not agree with the slap on the wrist that they gave Westfire last time, or the slap on the wrist they've given some other establishments, including Whiskey Bones. Quit letting these establishments jerk us around. The bottom line is they pay for the liquor license, but the amount that they pay don't come nearly close to covering the true cost of what it takes to provide police coverage for some of these areas, and particularly Westfire, and just the boneheaded things that Westfire Grill was doing time and time again. They should not have been given the slap on the wrist last time. And they came back, and all we did is we created more victims in the meantime. This is my first time to vote on it. I think we were very decisive. We voted 7-0 to revoke their license. What we had to do is we had to have a public hearing, so we discontinued our meeting Monday, continued it on Thursday. On Thursday, we had the public hearing, and then we had to publish some facts and findings, and we came back for about 75 seconds on Friday to finalize it. In addition to taking away their liquor license, I particularly did not want them to be able to serve alcohol Friday night when they knew, basically they had alcohol on their shelves and they weren't going to be able to sell it after that. I thought some bad things could have come out of that. So I'd also requested that we basically not have them selling liquor after 8 p.m. Just too many bad things already have happened. But let's recap a little bit what's happened with this establishment. They've had numerous incidents with riot, gang violence, gang symbols being identified, poor maintenance of the facilities, failing to adhere to the agreements that they made with the city. In addition to that, they had certain theme nights. They had a hip-hop night and a Latin night, which these events go on at other facilities too, but this one is where we're having these real serious problems. The owner came in, to his credit, he answered our questions. I just wasn't happy with the answer. The bottom line is, if we're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, or something to that order, with the amount of police coverage that we have to send out there time and time again, it's not fair to the taxpayer that we're doing that. A year ago, he had basically agreed that he was going to stop serving alcohol in glass bottles, and he still hadn't done that. And I saw these pictures of victims with blood running down their face. It's one of the things about being on the city council is I get to see some of this pending crime scene evidence, and it really disgusted me seeing it. I was those of you that saw me at the meeting, I was very angry about what I had seen in some of those pictures. The bouncers don't work with the police. The police didn't feel safe out there. Give you another example of how they ran this facility. They have like 12 lights out there. Only 2 of them are working right now in the parking lot. So, I mean, it looks like, there's hardly any light out there. You can't see anything out there. I certainly wouldn't want to be an officer in that kind of environment. And we asked them, well, so why haven't you changed the lights? And the response was, oh, it's the economy. Well, you know what? There's no excuse for that kind of behavior. There's no excuse for you letting these problem patrons in again and again. There's no excuse for the bouncers not cooperating for the police, and there's absolutely no excuse or no reason or no justification that would make me think that you having your liquor license is worth us having the police in danger out there. I have nothing good to say about this. It's it's the end of liquor license with Westfire Grill. They proved that they didn't deserve it. They proved they couldn't handle it. They were irresponsible. We took it away. No more slaps on the wrist. Let this be a pretty good indicator of the way this council is going to handle other similar events. We're not going to take this crap anymore. and I think it's long overdue. I think we made an example at a West Fire Grill, and I'm not afraid to do it again. There will be these institutions will be well run. That's all I have for this week. Catch you again in 2 weeks.